Okay guys, well, I just played this game, like, it just ended literally a second ago. Um, this was a live recording, and for whatever reason, it did not get recorded. So, I'm going to just bring you the replay. I apologize for this, it will not be nearly as fun and entertaining, but I will say it will be shorter. Um, you'll see later. At first, I thought I was playing the mono black matchup. You see, my opponent starts with the Fume Spitter, um, and with no cards, I'm searching through the deck. I want to pull the life out. And then turn 2 comes this, the Aqueduct. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it is Dimir Control. I have seen it. It will be one that I feature in a later article. The second part of this series, actually. And then I started considering, what if this is different? What if this is the mirror match? I run Fume Spitter, I run Aqueduct. I guess it's not totally unusual. And then comes Muldrift through the deep analysis. It goes to his graveyard, and I'm thinking, huh, this may actually be the matchup. The whole time through, I was comparing the two decks. If his is more like the original, I think he has an advantage. As you'll see, he gets to use 4 snuff outs. I think actually I only saw 3, so his is slightly modified, I'll tell you that. But thinking it was the original, he would have 4 snuff outs in deck, which is an advantage because most of the heavy hitters are going to be stuff like the Rift Watcher and the Skyfisher, which are not black. I guess I should have considered this. I figure I could tap out because I have Blink in hand, so I will be able to use it on my next upkeep when he gets his last counter on the stack. But if I thought more about the fact that it was the mirror match, I would have left the mana open for blinking it as response to the snuff out, which comes up shortly. As you can see, he's got his going. The life gain just starts going like crazy. I do get to blink it to gain the life and kind of stall for a little bit. Here I could draw, but I decided that it was better to keep the prohibit in case he tries to kill things. The kill package is not really good for the mirror. You are running 4 echoing decays, which do not kill Rift Watchers or Skyfishers. And as you see, I did make the right call, saving the prohibit and the mana for it. But there goes the snuff out. That was a moment where I could have used the blink again, but because I tapped out, and I'm guessing he drew it on this turn, and was able to do that. But I will keep his Skyfisher from coming into play, which gives me more of a life advantage. I run into a problem here too with the Edict. I can't use it because of this Fume Spitter, and he keeps it in play for quite a while to be able to prevent that from happening. The deck, I imagine his is the same, is only running 1, but he can also keep it in play for my 1 toughness, my missionaries. I do grab one there. There goes another snuff out, which kills my Grim Harvest, so I don't get to have fun with that. But like I said, I am at a bit of a disadvantage because he was running, I want to say 3. He didn't get through his entire deck, so I'm not totally sure. But this gets a little crazy, as I'm sure you can imagine, as far as the missionaries and the life gain. He's lost more life to the snuff out, so that does keep me at an advantage through most of the game. But as you'll see, I'm never really totally able to take advantage. Skyfisher comes down. I have no direct kill, so I cannot prevent him from recasting that. My turnabouts, I use the Bog, which allows me to actually, if you take a look here, I am able to get out 2 deep analysis that he had still in his graveyard, as well as getting rid of these creatures for any kind of recursion he would have with that. The Bog is actually decent for the mirror matchup, and I drew a second one, which is not good. I guess it could help late game. It does get some use in the mirror match because of the fact that we use so much graveyard recursion with the blinks, the deep analysis, and the sick mystical teachings here. But still, you come to the late game. Let's just put this on play. And the aqueducts and stuff cause issues. I mean, it allows you to recur it, so it will cause issues for your opponent. I keep the advantage here. I have the flyer. He's got nothing to block with. We do stall out on the missionaries for a while. He gets the Oracle, and this draws some confusion. He's attacking with these, so I decide I will play the Echoing Decay, which would kill all 4. But I wanted to force his hand. I did expect that he had the blink if you heard my now lost commentary. So I did expect that to happen, but I did trade at 1 for 1. It makes him a little more manageable, gets 1 off the table for recursion. I drew a Fume Spit, so not only do I use that, but I of course forced him to use his, which was kind of silly because I had a blink, and I used it. So he lost his Fume Spitter, I still had my Missionary, and I went up 4 more life. I keep going with the Rift Watcher. I, as you will see, have the opportunity now to blink it back. I used the Edict there because I wanted to allow for my Missionary to attack without blockers. Attacking into a Seagate Oracle would of course be death. And because of his life gain, as well as mine, I know that I really want to get as much damage through as possible. One thing you'll note just real quick, if you saw that, with the Oracle, I took the Echoing Decay and I put a Fume Spitter on bottom. I do enter a point in time right now where I have these sacklands in hand, but no basics to search out. Now, what I should have done, I realize now, is I could have used the Wilds to shuffle that up, get that Fume Spitter off the bottom. He will be the last card I draw. As a spoiler, I do end up decking out in this first game. The game just goes on, there's so much draw and so much life gain that he just survives longer, he draws less cards than I do, and it causes me to deck out. His is a modified version too, like you see he's got the wall in so he can get some more recursion going. He does have a second blink, which I found out later, and if I did not mention, and that causes some issues. And I think he cut down his count for Muldrifter and Deep Analysis. Again, I think he ends the game with 6 to 8 cards in deck, so there were cards I did not know. He does have a bunch of cards in hand. I imagine those are, like me, these sacklands that he just cannot use. But I imagine there was a cut down in his version from the high count of draw spells, which could of course lead me to the fact that I decked out. But that's okay, because I'm a big opponent, big component? Well, I'm a big fan of draw. Card advantage is always good. I like to create it wherever possible. As you can see here, this is going to be the important factor though, the clock. We're both down to under 20 minutes, and it's really close. And I reach a point shortly here where I get him to 5 life, and it doesn't matter. Like, I seize at 5 life, but I know, based on what's left in my deck, that I will not be able to beat him. I need to get flyers and 2 toughness creature or 2 power creatures to get through, but the only ones that are left are Muldrifter, and I can't play those, because if I play those, it reduces my deck even more and just ends the game. This part of the game, I play this in the tournament practice room, and what I like to do is play them like they're an actual tournament match. And if you're playing in a DE or a 2-man match, what's going to come down to is you're going to try and stall time off the clock. Some people may give me crap for this. They may, I don't know, be unhappy with the fact that I would draw out the game. But I see it this way, like a win is a win. If I can get him down to 0, even though I'm losing, I've actually won that game. So I don't really concede to a game that I know I'm going to lose, for the simple fact that you can get them to use up time on their clock. This is still game 1. As you see, he's approaching under 15 minutes, and it's mostly to his fault. If he cast creatures and pass the turn, it would be no big deal. It would be a big deal. He might still time out, but he would get this game over with faster. I'm down to 5 cards. I mean, I guess he doesn't know what I have left, but I have a good idea of what I have left, and I know I'm not going to be able to beat him. So at this point in time, anything I do, you see I draw the Muldrifter, and I will not play it. Anything I do is going to be stalling out time for the clock. He's going to go through with some recursion with the Fume Spitter and the Grim Harvest, which is, a nice thing. It's good to note. You can see it here. That's what this deck can do, given the opportunity. But all he's really doing is wasting time. And what it's gonna be is he's gonna time out at game 2. Going into game 2, he's gonna have, I think he got down to 7 or 8 minutes left on his clock. And based on this mirror match, as you can see how long the first game took, and you look, I'm at 41 life. He gets down to 5 at one point, but I'm at 41. There's no way he's going to win this either. The only defining factor in this mirror match is going to be time, which he's losing, and deck, which I'm losing. Now, the difference being is that deck counts for one game. So yes, I'm going to deck out in 2 turns, but he's going to time out. Here, you see he's still playing around with Grim Harvest, and it's ridiculous. I'm at 1 card in deck. Pass the turn. Don't play anything. I'm going to play cards. I'm going to make him, use the click OK if he doesn't F6 and just eat time. And, again, you may think this is cheap, but a win is a win. And if you're going to, lose a game 1, who knows what would have happened in game 2. You could have easily come out and, dominated him and turn things around, but maybe you got a bad draw. You have to mulligan down to 5, something like that, and you're going to be able, with this deck, I know from experience, you're going to be able to hold off. You have so much life gain that even a bad draw, you can hold off and stall out a game, and deck him out on time. Yeah, not deck him out, but you'll clock him out. You see turn 33. He got to 8 minutes. Now, this is the only game you're going to see, because you'll find a lot in the tournament practice rooms. I'm not sure if you'll run into this in tournaments. I have not personally, but I know in the practice room, when you come to this point, game 1's over. You see he's got 8 minutes left on his clock, and we're going to go into sideboarding, and he's going to just concede the match, because he knows come game 2, even if he wins, he's going to eat up a majority of this clock, and I can keep stalling it out for the win. But let's take a quick look right here at what my sideboard options would have been. Now, I would have brought in definitely the 3 negates. What's going to come out for those is the Nausea, probably a Fume Spitter. The Nausea's okay, but the only thing it's going to kill is going to be a Fume Spitter, which is not a big deal, and the Missionaries, which kind of is a big deal, but it's going to kill your Missionaries as well. So I'm okay to drop those and bring in the negates, use them for an opportunity to stop a blink or a card draw, a kill from my opponent. The other things I'm going to switch out, I would have brought out 2 of the Echoing Decays and an Edict for 3 Doomblades. The reason behind this is that a lot of the big beats in this are 2-3. They are not going to die to Echoing Decay. What that means is I need a direct kill, and they're not black, so I can bring these in. It kind of makes up for the fact that I'm only running 2 Snuff Out. The other thing that I would take out, because I would take out the Edict, is because this deck has the potential to have multiple creatures on the field at a time, especially in the mirror where there's not a ton of kill spells. You bring those out because, I can keep a Fume Spitter on the table. If I know you have Edict as one of your big kill spells, I can completely negate that by just keeping a Fume Spitter in play alongside my Missionary or my Skyfisher, so that when you Edict, I can just get rid of this little 1/1. It's not a big deal. Another thing I mentioned at the end I was considering is the Dispel. I might bring those in place of the Prohibit. Maybe take out the Grim Harvest. I'm not sure exactly what I would have changed out for those, but it's a good thing to consider in this deck. If you looked at, if those were main deck for game 1, he's running 2 Momentary Blinks. That's a big stop if you can stop a blink. It will be able to recur if it's the first playing, but either way, that's still 1 card you're taking away out of 4 uses. That also will stop Mystical Teachings. It will stop Snuff Out, which is one of his major ways to actually kill your creatures, because of the Echoing Decays only take -2. So it's pretty good against the main deck. But let's look at the sideboard. Now, assuming his sideboard is the same, which I'm guessing it wasn't, but you can imagine he's got a lot of the similar choices. 14 out of 15 sideboard cards are instant spells. So those spells will be able to stop. 2 dispels will be able to stop whatever he brought in to hose you. And that's great, because that's what sideboarding's all about. That's where kind of the chess match comes in. You want to be able to not die to what he's brought in to specifically kill you. So if he brings in like Negate, or he brought in the Doomblades, he brought in Prismatic Strands, you will have Dispel as like your secret weapon. So if he thinks, okay, here's going to be the winning kill with Rift Watchers, so let's throw out a Strands and I'll take no damage, well, you Dispel that, and then he's stuck. You know, he thought he was good, he thought he was safe, and you just cancel that out for 1 mana. So it's really could be a good thing to bring into the mirror based on, you know, what variant your opponent is playing. So there you go. That is the mirror analysis. I apologize that it is not the live play. But I guess, like I said, for your benefit, it makes this shorter. So enjoy it. And I will add a note that I've added to all of these that I am going to probably put these in a playlist. Check out all the other videos. There is a deck tech up on my channel. Check out the article on puremtgo.com, and I will catch you later.